Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Her, Heal, Empower, and Radiate, the podcast where we promote living the soft life and finding all that femininity and love for yourself. I am Yaya.
And I'm Jari, and we're your hosts. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yes, we're so excited to have you. And hopefully from the first episode where we welcomed you and got you a little acclimated to what we're going to be doing and talking about, we're super, super pumped. So today we're starting with
What's on my mind right now? I feel like my life is in full bloom. I'm in this like transition phase where I just quit my 9 to 5 that I did for like 2.5 weeks after being on maternity leave for almost a year and a half. I'm still in this transition phase where I'm trying to be more intentional about knowing my worth, doing what I really truly love to do, believing in myself and all my passions. I just feel like life is so short. Why not truly embrace and live your passions? Live them out, bring them out into fruition. That's where I am, trying to figure it out as I go because I'm in this transition phase. I'm really focusing on living my soft life. Whatever I need to do, whatever it takes for me to be more peaceful, less stressed, more happy, sign me up. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm moving towards.
I am allowing myself to be comfortable, to release expectations. And what's been on my mind lately has been social media. I have been on social media since, I'm a millennial. So I've been on since 2004 and all those other variations of what became social media. I have been struggling with the relationship with social media since I would say like 8 or 9 years, honestly, where I want to engage with people on these social platforms, but I also don't. And that goes against like, I want to go out and meet people, but I also don't. So I kind of have it on both sides where I'm like, well, you can't just be a hermit, right? You have to be a part of the society, or you can choose not to, but I choose to be a part of my society. So what's been on my mind this week, I have 6 Instagrams because of all the different things I've done or do. And I'm like, just either have to consolidate everything or I need to walk away from some of these things. And I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, but that's what's on my mind right now because I feel I want to give my everything to something. I want the opportunity to be creative and I want to invest time in looking for work and things like that because I'm currently underemployed, right? I want to make sure that I like my next step is really in a position that like fulfills me and allows me to like live my soft life by being financially secure, right? So having those two things attached, I'm processing what my social footprint is right now and what it will be in the future.
I totally see that. I'm really focusing on my digital marketing, keeping that as the umbrella, but then having maybe 3 specific social media accounts that can branch out that umbrella.
Right.
But without feeling I'm super overwhelmed with everything that I want to do and being present in each avenue that I'm trying to put under the umbrella, you know?
Don't you feel like it's like spreading yourself too thin, right?
I mean, I think so, but then I feel again, life is so short that why not, you know, be happy. And if today I want to focus on TikTok, then that's what I'm going to focus on today. And then tomorrow I want to do Instagram and do that specific social media platform, then why not, you know? But again, without feeling like my mind is scrambled, I want to truly organize my thoughts or my ideas. That way I can like, share my message with people the way I want it to be shared.
We are here to promote a soft life and to embrace femininity. Addie, do you want to tell us a little bit about soft girl aesthetic?
Yes. I feel like is this new trend, right? It's being very girly girl, something that we kind of looked up, inspired by Brat dolls, Y2K fashion, manga, bells, bows, pearls, like all these like girly girl things. That is the soft girl aesthetic. But it's also embracing your femininity without forgetting about your intelligence and how strong you are as a a soft girl. I prefer the soft living over the soft girl aesthetic. I want to be more comfy and baggy. And yes, sometimes I do want to curl my hair or put some makeup on. I love that. But I don't feel like I want to live in that every day, that be my goal.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Where I'm like, you'll see me with my bold red lip, and
Right.
I love the look. I love the femininity in that way. But I think soft girl is a little bit I don't want to say younger, but it gives me the powdered pink,
Mm-hmm.
fluffy, like a very specific kind of girly girls aesthetic, right? And
Correct.
it's about the look. Whereas like soft living and the soft life is really about, I consider it a rebellion, right? So we're talking about
I
you are
agree.
expected to be a certain way, but when you are choosing the soft life and soft living, I rebuke that. I do not take your expectations as the way, my way of living, right? I don't have to carry everyone's burden. I don't have to navigate by like planning everyone's day, or taking on all of the expectations, or what women are expected to be day to day, and all of the responsibilities that we have on our head and the mental load. And what I looked up was an article from essence.com by Dominique Fluker, not sure how you say her last name. And she was talking about how this all started from a hashtag called Soft Life
Mm-hmm.
by Nigerian influencers. It's really been propelled from Black women wanting to stand in their truth and demand to be seen as women and not tools and these working things that just keep things together and keep moving things forward and keep going and working until you're like miserable. And then it's like going against the angry Black woman. You're looked at like, if you're firm, if you're insistent, if you're demanding,
Assertive.
then you're assertive. It's a negative, it's bad, you're an angry Black woman, you're an angry person of color. Whereas soft living, it's like, okay, well, I won't make you feel that way about me, if regardless of how
Yeah.
you feel, but I won't do those, because I won't feel the need to maybe speak so firmly, or to be sure, or to be whatever, because I'm rested, because I'm considering myself, because I'm taking care of myself every day, because I'm making time for what I need, as opposed to always putting someone else first. So that's how I see soft life, and what a little bit of that article offered. And I think it goes along with soft aesthetic, because some people match
Right.
those, right? Because it's about embracing your femininity as well. But the
Mm-hmm.
soft living is 100%, I think, a rebellion. It's like
I
taking the
agree.
nap. Like, take the nap. Like, the nap ministry tells you, like, rest is rebellion. Like, you need to relax and embrace that, and by doing that, cause the change and the effect in your life that you want to see. So I'm all about the soft life
I
as well.
agree 100%. And I think even as moms,
Mm.
it's looked on as it's looked bad upon. We shouldn't prioritize self-care because we have to be a mom and we have to take care and we have to nurture, bring life, right? But how can we give from an empty cup? So I'm all about being rebellious and saying, no, I need me time. I need to take that fucking vacation, to use my language.
Mm-hmm.
I need to take that vacation because in order for me to be the best mom, I need to take care of me first. So yes, it does feel like I'm rebelling against the norm, right? The norm is for you to put yourself last as a mom. But
Exactly.
no, put yourself first. Mamas, put yourself first. And then everything else I feel like will be so much smoother. It will flow because you are fueled. You are taken care of. Like, how can you take care of someone else if you haven't taken care of yourself first?
Exactly.
So rebel.
And
Live a soft life, rebel.
whether you have kids or not, you have to demand that you're seen as a human being, right? I am a person and I need rest. I am a person, I need to
Yes.
hydrate. And I don't know, sometimes I think about my own path, and I have spent so much time barely hydrating. I don't know how I've survived, because I would barely drink anything. And it's because I was putting so many other things in front of my own needs. And then at the end of the night, I'm like guzzling water, because my body's like, girl, you're about to go to sleep and you still haven't drank a cup of water? This is unacceptable behavior, right? And I know that's so relatable, because I've heard my friends say the same thing. So I get it. But now I have a cup of water, even if it's just with ice, so even if it's melting down, I still have something to drink. It's still cool, whatever, just to remind myself, you need to take care of you. You need to take care of yourself, you know?
Not to get super scientific, our bodies literally regenerate when we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's when our cells regenerate. That's when our cells heal. If you take that concept, that perception, in order for us to be our best selves, we need to rest.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Hello, two and two go together. But yeah, to move on to the cultural aspect and how it affects us living this soft life or wanting to be in this soft life, I think any strong culture or family influences can really impact our personalities, our success, our dreams. From the article that I read on Forbes.com, we can totally add these articles to our page. That way, you guys can
Definitely.
reference back to these websites as well. It stated how culture informs areas of our lives, but most importantly, the arts, our thoughts, what religion we want to associate with, our language, food, and our perception on life. Culture significantly impacts all these areas of our life. Now, being Dominican, and I'm sure you can relate,
Same.
being a
Same.
Dominican girl, there's
Mm.
certain expectations that are put on you, like taking care of everybody else before you. There's expectations of your beauty, right? How you should look, how you should
Two things.
behave. We were talking about that, right, the other day. Beauty standards for at least our Spanish culture is there's a lot of pressure there. And how you should behave, right? Like don't speak unless spoken to, or try not to be, too vocal on how you want to live your life because that's looked bad upon. Also, where do these strong cultural beliefs come from, right? They come from your loved ones passing them down to you because that's what they were taught. Our parents were taught to take care of other people first, so that's what you should be doing. But no, why not break the mold? Why follow the same generational cycles?
I was just
Um,
about to say that.
yeah, so now that we want to live, in more of our soft life era, you're going to want to ask yourself these questions. Do you want to hold the same beliefs about, gender norms that your parents did? And if you're a parent, what cultural beliefs or expectations, values are you going to be passing down to your kids? Because if you don't agree with those expectations, those cultural beliefs, then are you really wanting to pass them down to your kids so that way they can continue that? Or do you want to change the norm? Do you want to be rebellious, like you said
Right.
earlier,
Yeah.
right? And change that generational cycle?
Well, let me ask you, what are some ways that you now, like you have a 13-year-old and you also have a toddler, little baby girl, so
Hmm.
you have a boy and a girl. What are some ways that you right now as a parent are implementing that change in your own life?
I think a major one, when we're talking about the pressures of how we're supposed to be looking, that's something that I want to change, or I'm focusing right on changing with both. I have both a boy and a girl. I want to change how they see themselves. In order to pass that down, that change, that break that generational cycle, I need to learn to love myself, love what I see in the mirror, be kinder to myself, have more self-confidence, because it then reflects on how they see themselves. And it could be different for a boy and a girl, but
Mm.
that self confidence is the same. I think boys in general don't talk about how they see themselves and how they feel like other kids in school are seeing them, and they don't talk about it, but they're
Mhm.
feeling it. I think it's more normal for girls to be expressive on the way they're like self-conscious or how they're like super confident in how they look and how they feel. Boys also go through the same feelings, right? Same thoughts. They're just not expressive about it. I do want to be more self-conscious in not focusing on the pressures that were passed down to me on my look or my weight or how I expect other people or want other people to see me and not pass that down to my kids.
I hear you. I want the audience to know that we're talking very specifically right now about these these genders, right? We recognize that there's a spectrum. There's obviously many things that kind of intertwine, and that we each have those feminine and masculine and otherly emotions and sensibilities. And at some point we'll have an episode fully on that, and we can talk a little bit more about it. But just know that we recognize that, and we're not going to be segmenting things just by men and women in the whole time. So I just want to call that out. Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely spot on about recognizing the things that have affected you as an individual, recognizing what's held you back, what has affected you, what expectations you've put on yourself because of what you've seen in your own households or in your community or in your culture, right? And then modifying. I'm raising a little girl, and there's a few things that I already see that I do with her that is like, oh, that would never have flown in my house. Even just letting her talk and defend herself or speak her piece, and not immediately getting into a blind rage to react to her, like not being reactive when she expresses herself. That when she is being a toddler and maybe having a fit, that I go, oh, I'm triggered by this because my mom would have, instead of doing that, instead of even thinking about lifting my hand or shouting, you know, I typically, not to say that I don't shout, but I typically try to go, what would I have needed in this moment? And it doesn't always come out in that thought. It's usually like much more abstract than that. But in the end of it all, I'm like, oh, that's what I was asking myself, or that's what I was needing in that moment. And okay, she just needs to stomp around. Usually I will say she'll have a fit. I'll let her have her fit. I'll ask her what she needs. If she can't express it, I'll assume based on the scenario. I'll say to her, I'm going to give you a little space because it seems like you need a little space, but I'm right here. I'm not leaving you. I'm not upset. I'm not abandoning, right? I'm going to be in the kitchen. Use your breath and think, feel, whatever, but I'm right here. And when you're ready, you can call me over. You can come over. I'll check in on you in a few minutes, whatever you need. And just that one scenario is like a huge fuck you to that generational curse, generational trauma that like you know.
I was just gonna say that like I find myself reflecting and even talking about in therapy those moments because even with my 13-year-old, I have those moments and teenage years are we were all teenagers. And if you're a teenager listening,
We know.
baby, we hear you. We know. We were there. And I think our ancestors, our parents and our parents' parents, they forgot in those moments that they were also that age. It was hard for them to even recognize, to see, like you said, wait, she needs a moment, but I'm gonna let her know that I'm not leaving her in that moment. I'm gonna let you have your moment. And I constantly find myself, I think, doing it more, right? Because my daughter's only one, so I'm not there yet. And I know I'm gonna be there soon. Toddlerhood is
Inevitably.
Toddlerhood and teenagehood, what possessed me to start over. But anyways, more with my teenager, I find myself stepping back more and saying, I was a teenager. I'm going to let you have your moment. And you're lucky because when it was me being a teenager, I didn't get to have those moments.
This grace, right?
Just know that you're not by yourself in these moments. I'm here for you. We're going to talk about it after, or we can come back to it another day. I find myself reflecting and talking about it in therapy of how monumental cycle breaking is. That moment right there, it honestly brings me to tears a lot of times. It gives me chills because I'm like, wow, something so simple.
Que dominicana, ay, me granojé.
No, seriously. Yo me engranojo because honestly, like, it's something so little, but it's such a huge impact, right? Such a huge impact. So go to therapy. Hashtag go to therapy because it's super beneficial. It helps you, like, put two and two together and just be a better person.
I completely agree. I just wanted to mention some takeaways that folks can head out into the world with and continue to grow this goal of living this soft life. Here are some tips for embracing soft life. Prioritize mental and emotional well-being, period, full stop. Prioritize mental and emotional well-being, okay? What is it that you need in that moment? Like you say, are you filling your cup? Make sure you're taking care of your physical health. I know I have to talk to myself every single day and go, did you go for your mental health walk?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get
Did you
some
move your
vitamin D?
body?
Did you move your body? I'm going to be
Did you
honest. I
drink
would say
water?
75% of the week, it is no. I did not do
Mm-hmm.
some of those things. I did not go and walk the dog this morning. I focused wholly on like, whatever I was doing. And then it was time to pick up the kid. And then it was kid time. That's my life. So I
Yeah.
am also navigating this. I just want everyone to know we are not
We're in
perfect
this
people.
together, guys.
We're in this together. Slow down and appreciate and savor present moments. Literally smell the roses, right? It's that same metaphor, that same statement. Being present, being in the moment, being mindful. One thing I've been doing lately, and I know we talked a little bit about mindfulness practices. I've been, well, I was vision boarding with your vision board kit, which I love, 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 love. I literally cut
I
out
love
so
your
many
vision
pieces.
board.
And the way it aligned, it was so funny because I was cutting, and my daughter's watching Bluey, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm cutting too much. This is going to be too much for this one little,
I
10
thought the
by 10, whatever.
same.
And by the time everything fits so perfectly, I thought I was going to have to make two. And so I have it framed. I'll show you all later in a picture. But so even just that practice of like, I am right here, right now. I'm not thinking about bills. I'm not thinking about my job. I'm not thinking about what's for dinner. I'm just right here and I'm cutting and I'm gluing and I'm moving and this word looks better here and this picture looks better here and this pattern, and it's a pattern recognition, and it's just be in the moment. Like, I would say daily, but I understand life is busy. So like even just once a week where you're like, hey, it's Sunday morning, nobody's bothering me. Let me just sit down and do this activity. Puzzles. I did a puzzle the other day and I literally like the world disappeared. I was sitting there like so focused, and I have a really hard time focusing on things. But this goes hand in hand with what I was saying about the social media and the phone. Just like not having to look at it and just be like, oh, I'm just playing with a puzzle. Oh, it felt so good. It felt so good. So I fully, fully, fully support that and encourage people to
Something
find the peace.
even simpler than any of that is breathing. We
Oh,
literally
yeah.
forget how to breathe. We think we're
We'll
breathing
take a breather right
and
now.
we're fine and we're alive, but we forget that we need to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth.
Can we take a breather right now?
Yes, please. Okay.
Okay. In through your nose. Fill your lungs. Fill your belly. Make it nice and big. Hold it for a second and then slowly let your belly in and let out the breath through your mouth as long as you can go. And then a regular breath right after.
Like,
Yes.
isn't that being present? It's
I
so
can take a nap.
simple. And we forget. Like, we forget. We forget how to breathe. All of a sudden, life happens, and then you forget. You think that you're breathing, but no. That simple motion of taking a deep breath in and out is literally hashtag soft life.
Yes.
It could be that simple.
Absolutely. And lastly, surround yourself with supportive, positive individuals who uplift and encourage your personal growth. Honestly, Daddy, when I talk to you and I go, oh, I'm kind of interested in this, or I kind of want to do this, or this is how I'm feeling, and like I always feel like you get it and that you're like so supportive, and you help me visualize things. I just need that. Or if I'm calling one of my sisters and like, yes, I just need that. So it's so important. I know personally having that support system is integral, whether it's in person, it's an online community, whatever, it's at school, wherever you are in your life, if it's your partner, whoever, like you just need someone who can believe in what you're doing and what you're striving for, and that can, whether they see the vision or not, that they can at least support you in what you're doing, and help you, like, take the load off for you a little bit, right? Because we'll talk a little more about that in the future episode, but that relief allows space for all of the other things.
We are creature of community. We're not meant to do things alone. We're not meant to navigate through life alone. And that doesn't necessarily mean having a masculine partner or feminine partner, whatever you choose. It's literally, we are creatures of community. Whether you're in momhood, find yourself a mom group or another mom that you can relate, that you can speak to and say, estoy cansada. Hoy estoy cansada. If you're in college right now, like find yourself a group of people that are navigating through that same thing. So that way you could be like, yo, I'm freaking stressed out. This paper has me stressed out. Like, let's talk about it.
Oh my God,
Whatever.
I worked in higher education for many years. And just like when you said that, I thought, I hope that some colleges, some people are starting soft life groups. That's something so big in college campuses, right? You have your group, whatever, and then you just weekly, you're meeting with those people. I want that for them. Oh my God, I hope that someone
Yeah,
is
I feel like
out
that's so
there
needed.
having a soft life group and they just meet up and they either read together or they play, do puzzles together, or they just like sit in each other's company and like breathe. I wish that for you all.
I agree. I think even us wanting to be productive, sometimes we just sit here and work, even though we're in two different states. Even us being productive and then like talking caca together,
Yeah, no, of course.
that community aspect that, surrounding yourself with
Helps.
just sitting together and working together helps so much.
Yes.
Since 2020, we have navigated so far away from that, and people are yearning, wanting to come together and be together more and more because 2020 literally isolated us and kept us like away from each other.
It's so wild because I've worked in community management, operations, all this stuff. And one of the things that I tried to implement like countless times, and I feel like it's so helpful, is literally just like work with me. You're working remote, but you have like a Zoom or a Teams or whatever channel.
Or a TikTok live.
Right. Well, and I do that by myself. But like if you have an organization, like a team, and you're like, hey, we all work remote, let's just hop on. I'm just going to leave it live. And this link is just there, or this room is just there. And when you feel like being around people, you just jump in and you sit there and you and you just keep working, but you feel that you're with people. And then even then, maybe you bond with that person. Oh, can I bounce some ideas off of you since you're here if you're not busy? Oh yeah, I'm just kind of coding or whatever, so shoot, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, it has so many possibilities. And I find that from my own experience in these huge companies, people are like, no, thank you. They leave me alone. And I'm like, all right, y'all, do what you gotta do.
But that's fine. But they still want that company. And it goes back to, surrounding yourself with people. And ultimately we are creatures of community.
No, I agree. I think
we
some
are
people really
animals
struggle
in
with
that
it.
sense, like there's always, dogs travel in packs and elephants have these like herds, and we are the same in essence, right? So surround yourself with supportive people.
Yeah, no,
And
I
if
hear you.
you don't have supportive people around you,
We can be supportive people.
We will be here if you guys need supportive people.
Listen, I will start a Zoom link and just be like, listen, I'm working today if you want to jump in and just sit with me. Sometimes I just need that. I'm like, I don't need to call anybody. I just need you to like be in the background.
Yeah.
So lastly, I just want to touch on some celebrities that embrace soft lives. Yeah, celebrities got it made. They got money. They got all the help they can ask for. But there's a specific type of celebrity, I think, that, and you'll see through my topics here, who embrace a very specific style of living that reflects this soft life. So, for example, SZA. So if you're putting up your music, she usually leans towards that, right? She's all about that soft life and embracing your uniqueness and all of that. She advocates that through her trends in social media. Simone Biles, always positive, always uplifting. Despite any criticism, she just stays focused on the beauty of her life. Ciara, same. Rihanna exemplifies everything that is femininity, soft life. Like she is such a good example of someone who is like, I don't give a F what you think. I don't give a damn what you want from me. Oh, y'all want another album? Cuando me salga de la nalga, that's when you're gonna get
literally.
If I ever feel like getting into a booth again, that's when I will sing. So I love her for that, because that's such a good example of people like, oh my God, how can you not do this when so many people are dependent?
Do these people pay your bills?
They do. But she has other ways of paying her bills. So
but listen, do they in that aspect? Like come on. She could literally be like, ya yo no quiero hacer nada, and still live comfortably for the rest of her life. So do they pay your bills? No.
Yeah, so exactly. But just like the rebellion of like, I'm going to be my authentic self, regardless of what you think, regardless of what your judgments are, what you expect of me as a woman, as a Black woman, as a whatever you are categorizing me as a musician, right? In this case, that she just keeps pushing forward. So I love that example. I think those are some people that we can like look to. And I hope we can be support for our communities. So on that note, I think that's it for today.
This was a really good episode. We can wrap this episode up. We really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of H.E.R. Her Heal, Empower, Radiate podcast. We hope you guys come back. Check us out on our Instagram page, like, follow, subscribe, comment, review, listen to us, watch us on YouTube. We are here for you guys if you need a supportive community.
Yes, I love it. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week, or we'll hear you next week.
Bye, Chais.
Ciao, bacalao.